The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
Ahoy! Let's go! We're waking up Chicago. Turn up the radio. It's time to start the show. On Q101 with the morning crew. Ahoy! Let's go! Welcome to the morning show.
Well, let's go here. It's 6:03. It's 47 degrees. Feels really nice out again today. Looking like almost in the 60s. Gonna have 70s this weekend. Finally here. I think we got spring. I think it's gonna happen.
I've transitioned into a light zip up, which means I know it's spring. This is happening. I don't feel the need to be bogged down by a big heavy coat, nor even like a denim jacket. I am using the athletic thin zip up that I own as my primary mode of cover now.
Oh, it's very interesting you bring that up.
Oh no.
I didn't want to start the show like this. We have a lot of great stuff planned today, but since you just kind of triggered me a little bit, I'm sure you see me almost welling up a little bit in the eye a little bit.
I don't know what's going on.
I'm sorry we're starting the show off.
Are we pouring one out?
Yeah.
What happened?
It was only...
Are you okay?
I'm not okay.
What happened?
I'm not okay. I don't want to start this way, but we have to now because you led me there with the zip up, the half zip up.
Yeah, I'm wearing an NFL Players Association zip up right now, comfortable as can be. I didn't realize this was traumatic for you.
No, it looks amazing.
It's very comfortable.
I mean, you look great.
Thank you.
So yesterday, at the young age of 6.5 years old, not even 6.5, 6 years, 4 months old, I lost my Eddie Bauer puffer coat.
No!
The zipper gave out.
The zipper gave out?
Yeah, it gave out.
It's not a back injury. What do you mean the zipper gave out?
It was old. It's time to go. I said, it's okay. It's okay. You can go. I said that to the coat. So I've had this coat since I met Megan in November of 2017. A month later, she told me, if we're going to keep dating, you can't keep wearing those long Columbine black leather trench coats.
God bless her.
That's what I wore. I liked those back then. For years, that was my trademark. I just felt comfortable in a long black leather coat. And I thought maybe this time for an update. So I went to Eddie Bauer because they have tall sizes. I'm 6'4.25", and they had a puffer coat that felt so nice it was half price. Eddie Bauer is incredible, like half price deals all the time. Maybe because they're not popular anymore. I don't know. Outdoor gear. But it felt great. It was warm, and I looked good in it. It was a large, tall, not an XL. Large. It's like a broad shoulders, but somewhat of a slender build.
Hey, you're preaching to the choir, brother. I understand.
And I bought that coat for I think $110. It was normally like over $200, and it's been through. It got ripped so many times. Once really bad on a hotel. Those locks you flip on the hotel, those security locks you flip over to keep people not from breaking in and stealing your stuff.
Yeah.
Not the deadbolt, but the one above that. It ripped on that one time, but I got this tape on Amazon. I had about 13 places of tape to keep the puffer stuff in it,
Yeah.
It had all that. It was so good. It survived washing with that tape. All the years I moved back here to Chicago from Philadelphia. I bought that coat back there. And it survived all that. And then yesterday, the zipper, I went down and it just, the bottom of the part of the zipper opens up, like you got it zipped up, and then the bottom opens up.
This happened to my backpack last year.
Oh.
I had a JanSport that suffered the same fate.
So you sit there and you just kind of go like, I'll zip it back down and it's fine.
Yeah.
And I did that.
No.
For about I've done that for the last couple weeks. And then finally it won't zip anymore. And the zip, it just keeps coming off. And I made the tough decision to pull the plug on the coat.
Trash can?
Yeah, trash bin, the dumpster thing in the back of our building.
So already in the dumpster.
It's dead. It's buried. I didn't want to listen. It didn't want a funeral.
Oh my God.
It didn't want other coats coming there and just looking all nice and fresh, looking at it going, I'm sorry. Oh, he was a good coat.
That's devastating.
Went through everything. Went through the polar vortex with that coat here. Like it was 30 below zero. I wore that coat and it survived. It did a great. I was warm.
You drove your baby home from the hospital in that coat. You've lived a life in that coat.
That coat saw me get married. Saw everything.
Oh my God.
It's gone.
Well, I'm sorry.
Well, thank you.
You clearly had a tougher week than I have with this coat news. That's awful to hear.
It's terrible. It's terrible. So I thought it could survive this one more winter. I was going to get a new coat next year maybe, but it didn't make it. Now, even though it's beautiful today, and you're, like you said, you're not wearing big coats anymore, but that's where we're at.
But you got to plan ahead now. Sorry, I know you're getting emotional.
I'm
getting
sorry.
choked up a little bit. But think about it. I have a winter coat. I've had it for 6 years now, just like you. I've got a Jerry coat, the Jerry brand, Gerry.
Okay.
I can't imagine spending money on a winter coat. What a bland, upsetting thing to spend money on. I hope they bury me in that Jerry coat. I can't imagine buying another one.
Why aren't you attached to your coat like I am?
No, I am. That's the thing. But it's far less of an attachment to my coat and more like, oh, God, I can't imagine having to buy another one.
Let me tell you something. If that Eddie Bauer coat cost 4 times as much, I'd pay that right now to get it back alive with me. Now, I threw it away last night, but I have a problem here now. Gabby just texted in and said, Eddie Bauer used to have a warranty for life on their clothing, so if the zipper went out, there's a chance you can get a new zipper.
Brian, you need to go home. You need to dive into that dumpster right now.
Should I go now?
You should. I'll play Måneskin. I'll play Bad Omens.
Måneskin's not long enough. It's 2.5 minutes song.
All right, we're playing Stairway to Heaven.
I need Stairway to Heaven. I need Freebird. I need Inagata Vita.
We're doing Closer, 9 Inch Nails. That's 6 minutes.
The live version.
Yes.
What else is long that we play? Not much.
Nothing else.
God damn.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
Well, first off, I want to say I'm appreciating the outpouring of support from our listeners as I announced my Eddie Bauer puffer coat. The zipper broke out over the weekend, and I disposed of it properly as it wanted in its will. It's in the dumpster behind my building. But I may go back and get it because the zipper may have a warranty on it from Eddie Bauer. Eddie Bauer clothes are amazing, by the way. I'm not getting paid to say any of this because they have tall sizes, and the large tall, which my black T-shirts are, they last for years. They keep their form, their elasticity. Sometimes the stuff is expensive in there, but they have incredible half-price sales all the time.
I hate to be this guy.
Oh, boy.
No. Stick with me here.
Okay.
I'm the guy I'm becoming is you.
Oh.
So.
Hallelujah!
to sit on the porch in my rocking chair and complain about the world. But that's good to hear about the shirt quality of Eddie Bauer, because have you noticed, T-shirts are not what they once were.
No.
T-shirts suck now.
About 15 washes and they change, and then the collar's gone. And
I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened either.
What happened? There's shirts from the 90s. As somebody that is interested in a lot of vintage clothing, a shirt from 1994 is built like a military-grade tank.
Yeah.
They survive. They don't fray. They don't shrink. I don't know what happened. Shirts suck now.
Yeah. Shrinkflation, you know?
Yeah, it comes from the cotton, too.
Now, I asked, somebody texted in, 773, don't have his name here in the text. Always tag your name on it so we know what to call you when you text him. Said, I've had the same winter coat for 18 years. I refuse to buy a new one. I said, well damn, what's the brand? He says he has a Cabela's Roughneck. Insulated with a zip-out insulated hoodie inside. Weighs about 10 pounds.
Wow.
During the polar vortex when it was 30 below, he wore a T-shirt under this jacket, and he was fine. He was still sweating.
Man, credit to Cabela's. Excellent work as always. I'd like to check that out. That sounds nice. I love a coat that is physically heavy, that you feel it when you put it on.
Especially in Chicago, you need that one coat.
Yes.
It's like that. Now, I had my black leather coats that Megan made me get rid of. You can tell a little sore about it. I had about four.
I can tell.
I had 4 different black leather coats, and on our first date, I didn't wear one of them on that one, but the next one I did. I had a black blazer, kind of like Joe Pesci wears in Goodfellas.
Oh, hot.
Not hot by her eyes. I literally, in 2 weeks, I went to Eddie Bauer, bought that coat. So it was a very emotional time for me to remember my whole relationship with Megan is basically based on that coat.
Wow.
But I kind of wish I had my black leather coats back right now when it's, in the morning you get up at 3, it's still a little nippy out.
The problem is that my heavy coat, the one that is physically heavy on my body that drapes me in comfort, is from Alcala's Western Wear, which is the best Western wear store in the city. Oh. And it is a fringe jacket that makes me look like I would be out of a John Wayne movie.
I forgot about that coat. That's over in Bucktown or Wicker Park, that place?
Yeah, sort of near Bucktown. Yeah. Alcala's Western Wear, it's the best Western wear in the city. They've been around for decades now, family-owned business. They're wonderful people there.
Wow.
The coat is a little flashy. It's not an everyday coat.
I remember this coat. Haven't seen it in a minute.
Yeah.
Does Mackenzie not like it?
I think the world doesn't like it.
I like it.
I liked it too.
See, why are our women's telling us what coats to wear? EJ from ComEd checked in. He says, try Duluth Trading Company. Good quality, warm, and you'll feel skinny because their sizes are catered for bigger guys,
Yep.
thick boys.
Yep. Okay, can I give you a secret on Duluth?
Yeah.
That's where I buy all my underwear.
Is that right?
You're going to want to shift to Duluth boxer briefs as soon as humanly possible.
Can I tell you something else about Duluth?
Please.
I auditioned to be that voice. You ever see those commercials where they go, Duluth Trading Company?
I have.
I did that same voice, and they didn't pick me.
Okay, so it's not you in the commercial.
It's not.
Oh,
that
bummer.
guy's buying boats right now. That guy's got like 7 boats. What am I? I'm only renting my apartment. That's too small. But they said read it like a badass, and I went Duluth Trading Company.
That's pretty good.
Isn't it?
That sounds like it could be in the commercial. You sound like the guy that got the job.
Help! Exactly.
Oh,
Why
man,
not me?
If only you had gotten that job.
Oh crap! I could buy all kinds of coats.
That guy probably sleeps in. He's probably not even awake right now.
Oh, that guy ain't way working. He's sitting in his home going like, we need you to do the Duluth Trading Company. All right, go back to bed, dude. Damn it. Sucks. Oh, well.
Well, I'm sorry about your jacket. That's really hard, Brian.
There's a goodbye video I put up on our Facebook and Instagram. You can go check it out at Q101's Facebook page and Instagram for my Eddie Bauer coat that's gone. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Well, Foo Fighters makes me feel a little better here.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Well, it's time for a fact that makes your brain go. And it's one that's been plaguing since the caveman times. Plaguing their minds. Who has more orgasms? Lesbians or straight women? And Kay says, I'm going money all day on lesbians.
I typically ride with the lesbians. Most of my friends are lesbians. I'm going to trust their judgment on this one.
And by the way, before I give you the answer, this might sound like one of those lob ball topics that radio shows do, to be a little bit provocative.
I wasn't going to say anything.
It seems like, in case someone's thinking that, like, oh, God, this conversation.
Is anybody thinking that?
I don't know. Maybe somebody is in their car in traffic. I don't know.
Well, are we doing that or are you going to defend it?
I'm defending it.
Okay.
That this was very fascinating to me. I'm a curious person, and it came across my timeline, the story that came from AOL.com/news.
Is their tagline the home of fake news?
I can also verify this story came out yesterday, 2024, not 1994 from AOL.
Okay, good.
So a new study published this month in the Journal of Social, Psychological, and Personality Science. This is what fascinated me about this. The biggest problem is people aren't communicating in relationships, and divorces happen, and people separate because of sex. And this could help that. That's why I'm doing this. We're here to help people. It's not some kind of stunt.
This is a public service announcement,
Thank
if
you.
anything.
Exactly. So the new study showed that lesbian women do have more orgasms than heterosexual women.
Good for the lesbian. I appreciate that.
Now, interesting stat here, they have rates similar to heterosexual men.
Those are good rates.
That's a good rate.
Yeah.
Because I think it's hard for a man, well, I don't want to speak for people that have ED or any problems there, because there's too many boobs everywhere on your phone. You can't actually have an orgasm anymore. That's a whole other problem we talked about. The ease of sexual content has made men impotent.
Sometimes it's I don't have an issue getting it up, let's say, but I do have okay, I was going to be really vulnerable and honest here. I guess I won't do that.
No, it goes to what I was saying. We're vulnerable, we're honest, this is science. Go ahead.
I don't have an issue getting it up, but I do sometimes have a hard time getting done.
Well, that's kind of impotency in a way.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Because
it's incompetency, if anything.
Incompetency. Well, we'll get your girlfriend on the phone to talk about it.
Oh, boy.
Now, they are trying to say they can't figure out exactly why that is. They used to call it the orgasm gap. Mm-hmm. And now they're saying it doesn't exist because lesbian women and heterosexual men have about the same rate of orgasms. But I feel bad for heterosexual women. They seem to have the worst rate of orgasms.
Oh, God, I feel awful for them in general.
It's the worst.
It's a tough life.
I mean, let's just focus on this issue now. Now, there's a big study going on trying to find why that disparity is there. I think some people are making the obvious comments on Facebook. Lou checked in. Lesbians are definitely having more orgasms because they're already familiar with each other's territory.
That's
Thank
true.
you for making that appropriate for radio.
Yes.
for the kids in the car right now.
Because, first time I saw, I don't know what's going on here.
Well, I still don't.
All those different parts.
Yeah.
It's just, my God.
So that's really is the number one thing. They also say the expectations, there's less, I guess, of a stressful deal with lesbians because they know the outcome. They know what's going to happen. Whereas you'll say it's a man and a woman together. Like you just said, Case, I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
No, God.
I'm just trying to make this work. And because of that tension builds, stress, nervousness, then it doesn't happen.
Yeah. It's not good. It's not. You can't be stressed while making love, but it happens to me constantly.
Well, that you also don't drink.
Okay.
And I'm saying drinking can help. I'm not saying you should drink. I'm not saying I don't want you to start drinking. I don't want anybody to have a drinking problem. But when I was inexperienced and young, alcohol just helped loosen things up a little bit. Or I'm sure today it'd be like for some people an edible or whatever.
Did you ever play Guitar Hero, the video game?
Yes.
You know what having sex with me is like? It's like playing Guitar Hero because you have the crowd meter, right? Like you can't just play Guitar Hero and miss every note. If you start to miss every note, people will boo. So you try to get the scale all the way in the green, and I feel like every second that I'm naked is a fight to stay in the green.
Everybody got that? Anybody still want to date Case?
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. And after about 3.5 weeks, Piece of Garbage Madness is over. And the number one overall seed, much like the basketball tournament with UConn, Tiffany Henyard, the mayor of Dalton, labeled the worst mayor in America for all of the trials and tribulations and things she's put on the city. Listen, we've had WGN's Ben Bradley on here for probably about 6-7 months on this, and we were one of the first shows in the city. In fact, we were the first to talk about this situation. We care about the people of Dalton that make about $29,000 a year on average, and she makes close to $300,000. The alleged trips and scandals, going to stay in Vegas and Miami and New York at the Four Seasons, and there's so much to unpack with her of her power down there, and she won. You guys decided. She beat inflation with a last-second three-pointer.
It was really, I was so surprised at inflation, the 3 seed throughout the entire tournament. The way that they tore up the competition. You know, inflation affects us all, but I thought Henyard would run away with this, and by the end of it, she did not. It was a really close battle.
Very close. And, inflation, there was, inflation took out tipflation. I thought tipflation was going to win.
Yeah, I thought that would be the finals. There was tipflation versus Tiffany Henyard.
Yeah, you also had. She took out the Kennedy construction project,
and that is the worst thing in my life. And I don't even have a car.
How about that? Yeah, it was an incredible matchup, an incredible tournament. A lot of people were saying to call the city of Dalton to send a plaque or a championship belt down there.
We should let them know something.
Well, I would hope the power of this radio show, it gets to her through the people down there. There's got to be a trustee. Someone down there can pass this on to her directly that way. Because honestly, I'm afraid of her henchmen. I really am. I'm not pretending to be some tough guy radio host, we just do this stuff for fun here. And I got a kid now. If it was just me, it'd be different.
Yeah, but you don't want to get whacked.
No, I don't. I don't want to get whacked. Thank you for saying it so clearly.
I hadn't thought about sending her like a wrestling championship belt. Well, that is something to consider. Because she would love that.
That's the thing. She would wear it with pride.
She would wear the belt. Like, could you imagine her on a press conference just not drawing attention to wearing the title belt that has her face on it, but just wearing the belt?
Well, who can make a belt for us?
Oh, I don't know. I know gear guys. I don't know belt guys.
Because there was a guy that came to the Cubs home opener a week ago who had a Cubs 2016 World Series belt. He made like a WWE wrestling belt, and it was really good. Like, it was heavy. It was strong. I don't know who makes belts like that.
I could get
I don't want it to be cheesy. I want it to be real legitimate.
10 pounds of gold, baby.
Yeah,
like the NWA World Heavyweight Championship.
I'll pay for it.
I could get you a lucha mask. That doesn't do you any good. We need a belt.
I don't think she's wearing a lucha mask. Although, side note, put a pin in that, because I might want a lucha mask for something later.
For unrelated reasons.
Yeah. Some people say, let's see, 708, check it in. We need a live remote where you guys go down there to a trustee meeting and present the trophy.
That's a good idea.
Again, I'm a little scared.
Well, maybe that's why we have the lucha masks to protect our identity.
Wait, so we go down there in lucha masks and then present her with the belt.
Nobody be alarmed.
Oh, I'm sure that would go smooth. I appreciate it. We hear all you. We see all you guys. And again, pointing out that Lori Lightfoot is now being paid $400 an hour to investigate her. What a banana land world we're living in here in Chicagoland.
Well, like I said yesterday, it takes a bad mayor to know a bad mayor. And I think Lightfoot saw what was going on and was like, well, I've made some mistakes in the past. Let me see if I can catch her in the act doing anything.
Oh, God. Brian checked in trophysmack.com. I'm not just, that might be somebody that makes belts.
I don't trust a website called trophysmack.com. Why smack? Why not makeatrophy.com?
Also, 708, another 708 checked in. Not a belt, needs to be like a Stanley Cup. Makes a huge Stanley Cup and take it down there. Take it all over Dalton to the bars and restaurants and drink out of it to strip clubs.
Well, I guess, to use my artistic vision here, really what should happen is that we should have a trophy that looks like a garbage can that we can present to her. Because she
now
is,
we're cooking with
the
gas.
The champion of piece of garbage.
I agree. If anybody wants to help out in this situation or knows somebody, but it's got to be good and legitimate. I don't want it. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it right.
We're going to do it right. She earned this.
She did.
She outlasted 63 other competitors. The bracket that you guys came up with, I'm so glad we brought this back this year. We'll do it again next year. It was excellent. And, if Chicago history tells us anything, Tiffany Hinyard will probably be a 1 seed next year. I don't think anything is going to happen to her in the next 365 days.
See, I'm betting that there is. I don't know if DraftKings has any kind of bet on that. I'm betting that she's out by next year. That she will not be here for next year's bracket. There's no way. If she can survive this, like you just said, Chicago and Illinois, people do survive. Eventually they go to jail, but it takes a long time. So I don't know.
Exactly. That's the thing. It takes a long time.
Well, once again, congratulations to Mayor of Dalton, Tiffany Henyard, for winning Q101's Piece of Garbage Madness.
Hey guys, this is Super Mayor Tiffany A. Henyard.
Y'all forget I am the leader. They want to hear from the mayor. If y'all ain't learned that yet. The mayor, not the trustees that don't do nothing.
Still don't have a comment.
Sir, you're a trustee.
Well, once again, I don't have a comment.
Only judge when you got both sides of the story, not one-sided narratives, which is negative narratives in the media. All the trustees walked out because they couldn't have their way. And that's not how government works.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No, sir.
You didn't go to Las Vegas?
Now it's
Congratulations. By the way, the entire bracket up at Q101.com and Q101's Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can see the entire bracket on how it all played out.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.